There is a surefire way to know what your priorities in life are, the things that are really the most important to you. And those are the things that we invest in with our time and with our money. Investments are so important. They help us to use our resources to essentially double or triple or quadruple our returns, right? So today, we're going to be talking about the most important investment for you to make this year. Welcome to the Wake, Pray, Slay community where you can ask all of your business questions and get your answers. I am your host, Theresa Taylor, marketing and business strategist, and I help women just like you to grow and scale their businesses with marketing and sales mastery and with biblical mindset to help keep you rooted on the foundation of the Lord. So I am so happy that you're here with us. I would love to hear in the comments, what are some of the current investments that you might be making now? And what is your big goal for the year? So in Matthew 25, Jesus gives us the parable of the talents. And you can go back and read that today, and I really encourage you to do that. But this story begins with a man who is he's leaving on a long journey, and before he goes, he essentially gives his wealth, he entrusts his wealth to his three servants. And in those days, talents, that word talent, it is a lot of money. In fact, one talent was equal to 600 denarii. And to put that in perspective for you, one denarii was likely, and this is what I found online through some biblical text websites, but one denarii was pretty much like the average weekly pay. So 600 denarii would be about 20 years of pay. So this man, before he leaves for his journey, he entrusts his wealth. He doesn't actually give it to them to keep. He entrusts his wealth with his three servants so that they would take care of that 20 years of pay, like putting that into perspective for them. They would take care of that while he was away. Okay, so to one of the servants, he gives 5 talents. To another one, he gives 2 talents, and to the third servant, he gives 5 talents. And the story also points out that each of the servants was given this amount of talents according to his ability. So my first question is, what would you do if someone gave you that much money to take care of? What do you think would be a good way to take care of it? So I'm sure that most of us would say that we would put it probably into something like a safe deposit box so that it wouldn't get stolen or lost. I would probably say that most of us would do that. That would be the first thought we would have. There would be some people, hopefully nobody in this community, but there would be some people that would spend it and use it like a loan and then try to pay it back before the owner returns. And then there's going to be some of us that might even choose to invest it and hope to grow it for the person. So the servant with the 5 talents invested it. And when he invested it, he actually doubled the amount of talents for his master. And the second one did the same with the 2 talents. So that one grew up to 4 talents. But the third one basically dug a hole in the ground and buried it and sat on it, keeping it safe. And I do think, again, like I think that's what most of us would think to do if we were given possession of that much money to take care of for somebody else. We'd put it away in a safe deposit box so it wouldn't get lost or stolen. But here's the thing. When the master returned, he was happy with the first 2 servants in that they invested and doubled the talents that he gave them. So he rewarded the first 2 servants in sharing in the wealth. But the third servant who hid it, he actually took that talent back and he gave it to the first servant. So the third servant actually gained no reward, and his master was not happy. He was, I mean, when you go back and read it, you can actually like hear the tone of his voice that he was genuinely not pleased or proud or happy at all with this servant's behavior. And the reason why is because of the next 2 things I'm going to tell you. These are some things that I realized when reading it for myself that I never really noticed before. So there's two things that this parable says that a lot of people don't either realize or they don't talk about when they're sharing this parable. And the first is that the master, the man, he was a businessman of sorts. The parable mentions that the servants knew that the master harvested where he had not sown and that he had gathered where he himself did not scatter seed. So this to me means that he was likely an investor of himself. Like he knew how to work things to benefit him financially. Okay. And the second thing is because the servants knew this about their master and because he entrusted his money to them based off of their abilities, the scripture says, then we can also assume that he expected them to put into practice what they had learned and to invest his money accordingly. Like he expected that. And the point is further proven just a little bit later in this parable when the master says to the third servant, you should have put my money on deposit with the banker so that at least when I returned, I would have received interest. I would have received the same money back with interest. Okay. So I think those two things are really important to know because when we relate these to our God, when we relate these two things back to God and our lives, we can see God's already equipped us and he's given us our talents, right? And he expects us to invest in them. So he has enabled us to earn an income and he expects us to invest with that too. We are to be good stewards of all that God has given us. So if we are sitting on our gifts or sitting on our money and not using them to glorify the kingdom, then we are essentially placing them into a hole in the ground with nothing to show for them over time. So you know that a certain area of your life is a priority when you are investing in it. And you might already be investing in things already like stocks or real estate or maybe a Roth IRA. Like you're investing in these things because you care about your long-term financial health. That's a priority for you. You might also be investing in things like your computer or your phone or tickets to networking events because having connection with others is important. That's a priority for you. But how much are you investing specifically on you, on the gifts that God has given you? It's so important to understand this. God created you for two reasons. He created you to glorify him and to advance his kingdom so that none should perish. Don't you agree? So he equipped each of us with unique gifts to fulfill that mission. So he expects you to invest in them and not bury them. If you're not investing your time in reading things that pertain to your business or the things you want to learn about, or if you're not investing your money in other resources like coaches or mentors to help you cultivate those gifts and help you develop your own unique way to use those gifts effectively, then again, you are essentially acting in the same manner that the third servant did. You're burying them in the ground and you're not investing in them to grow those gifts or to grow whatever you're investing in, right? So when you go back and read Matthew 25 today, which I want you to do, you will see that the third servant actually didn't invest because he was afraid to. So this is important to note too, because God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and sound mind. So I'm here to remind you of that, to remind you that you were made for a time such as this, to invest in yourself, to nurture your gifts, and to do beautiful things with the gifts that God has given you so that none should perish. And how beautiful is that to be on this kingdom mission together? So just what is the best investment that you can make this year? It's you. You can invest in yourself and double that investment with clarity and direction and moving forward, both in your personal life and in your business endeavors and how you interact with other people. And I want you to book a call with me today. If you've never done this, let me just assure you that this is totally laid back. and fun. And it's a great way for just us to get to know one another and how we can better help and support each other. It's a complimentary strategy call where we simply just talk about your business goals and the business ideas that you have. We can gain a better understanding of your gifts and where God is leading you, and of course, what it could look like working together. So that's all I have for you today. I want you to book that call. I want you to go back and read about this parable in Matthew 25, the parable of the talents, and give me your comments, your feedback, your aha moments. What are the things that you are currently investing in? Assess those things today. Make a list of where your time is going to and your money is going to. And if none of that is on investing into the gifts that God has given you to advance his kingdom, then I want to encourage you to find ways to start investing in them. And it could be as simple as getting a book, right? That helps you learn a little bit more about whatever area, right? But it could also be getting on a call with me and talking about these things together. So I will put the link in the comments or the description below for you when this video ends, so that you can schedule that call. I really look forward to hearing from you and hearing any ahas you have. Thanks so much for joining me today. Please join me next Wednesday. We are going to have an awesome guest speaker in the house. She is actually our sister spotlight, Amy Wadlington, and she is going to be sharing a little bit about her business story and where she got to where she is and sort of the future goals that she's working on, and how she has learned how God has equipped her to lead others. So we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.